So for today's NBA ranking video, we are going to go 30-1 ranking every NBA team's best player. So I'm excited to make this video because we're going to be ranking 30 players in an interesting format. So guys like Damian Lillard and Paul George will not be featured in this video because they aren't the best players on their teams in my opinion. So this will be a fun way to rank 30 players. If you guys do enjoy this video, I would appreciate you dropping a thumbs up. And please let me know what you agree with or disagree with in the comments below. So coming in at number 30, we're going to the Washington Wizards, and in my opinion, the worst player that is currently the best player on their team is Kyle Kuzma. This isn't a knock on Kyle Kuzma at all though. He's still a damn good player and he's having a very nice and impressive 2024 season. Kuzma's averaging 23 points, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists a night. And yeah, he's not a ceiling raiser. It hasn't really resulted to any wins for Washington as they've been one of the worst teams in the league this year. Not all of that is on Kuzma. I mean, he's shooting 47% from the field and 36% from 3, which is way better than I thought I would see with him at this high of volume, taking almost 19 shots a night. All right, speaking of some of the worst teams in the league, coming in at number 29, we have Cade Cunningham of the Detroit Pistons. At this low in the list, we're definitely splitting hairs, and it just sucks to see what Cade Cunningham is going through right now in Detroit. He just looks defeated after every single loss on this current 25-game losing streak. I'm recording this before the second game against the Nets on December 26th, so hey, if they win that game, congrats to Detroit for finally getting a dub. But yeah, their losing streak is not on Cade Cunningham either. This dude is having a phenomenal year 3, averaging 22 points, a career high 7 assists a night, and has definitely been more efficient as the season has gone along. He's just being asked to do way too much in this offense, and he's just not that type of guy yet. Because Cade is still only 22 years old, and the Detroit Pistons desperately need to get him some help. All right, next up, we're going to go with Zach LaVine of the Chicago Bulls, coming in at the number 28 spot. With the way Kobe White is playing, it may not be Zach LaVine for much longer. Who knows? Maybe he's not even on Chicago when this video comes out. But LaVine is still their best player, but he's definitely had a down 23-24 season. He's also been hurt with a foot injury this year as well. So you add in an injury along with some inefficiency and just not really being a winning player this year. Yeah, Zach LaVine's got to come in pretty low on this list, and his stock is definitely falling than maybe what it once was a year ago. Coming in at number 27, we have Anthony Simons of the Portland Trailblazers. Man, Anthony Simons did miss a little bit of time this year. He's only played in about a third of the games, but he has been on fire in the 10 games he's played in. The dude is averaging 27 points, 5.5 assists, and 3 rebounds on really solid efficiency as well. 45% from the field, 40% from 3, and 92% from the line. He's one of the league's more efficient guards, and I do think Simons needs to figure out what he is on the floor. Is he a 1? Is he a 2? Because he is 6'3", and he's honestly a damn good playmaker as well. He could be the franchise point guard for this Trailblazers team, but even if that's not gonna happen, I think him and Scoot can be a really good backcourt for a really long time. Coming in at number 26, we have Victor Wembanyama of the San Antonio Spurs, and the main reason why I have Wemby above Anthony Simons is just due to the defensive side of the floor, because I just think Wemby is that much better than Simons and at least that much more impactful. Ever since Wemby has been moved to center, he has just been insane on that side of the floor. He's currently averaging 3 blocks a night in his rookie season and a steal and a half a night as well. That's 4.5 stocks. That's pretty damn good. He's also giving the Spurs 18.5 points, 3 assists, and 11 rebounds a night. And it's just an offense that looks like it's just ran by high schoolers right now because they just can't seem to find a way to get Wemby the ball. It doesn't make any sense. He needs to take at least 5 more shots a night on average from the rest of the year. So yeah, let's go from 16 to 21. Let's see it pop. Next up, we have the Houston Rockets, and we're going to talk about Alperen Şengün, who obviously has just been an absolute beast this year. In year number 3, he is breaking out. He's going to be in that most improved player conversation. Şengün is averaging 20 points, 9 rebounds, and 5 assists, which are all career highs for him, and he's also being efficient as well, shooting 53% from the field. He's improved his footwork, he's improved his basketball IQ, and he's just got that much more of a skill set going into year 3, and he's definitely one of the league's best young bigs. Speaking of some of the league's best young bigs, we got to talk about Paolo Banchero here for the Orlando Magic, coming in at the number 24 spot. Paolo Banchero is still just 21 years old. He turned 21 last month, and the dude is averaging 21 points, 7 rebounds, and 4.5 assists a night on one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference this season. He's also been impactful on the defensive side of the ball, as the Magic are still one of the top defensive teams in all of the NBA. And I just love to see the playmaking ability from Paolo keep developing, like 3.5 assists last year as a rookie, up to 4.5 this year. That is really impressive. And I also love to see the 3-point percentage jump as well. 29% last year as a rookie to 38% this year as a sophomore. We got another big coming in at number 23, and the best player on the Utah Jazz is Lauri Markkanen. So Markkanen was a first-time All-Star last year. It looks like he could get number 2 this year. Definitely took a little bit later for Markkanen to come on the scene. Took him 6 years to really break out from a couple disappointing years in Chicago and in Cleveland. But over the last 2 years, he's been a beast since coming over to Utah, averaging around 24.5 points, 8.5 rebounds, and shooting 49% from the field and 39% from from 3 every night. All right, next up at 22, we're going to talk about somebody that's definitely having more of a down year, and that's Mikal Bridges of the Brooklyn Nets. Mikal Bridges was very high up in the preseason most improved player odds, and he is definitely not taking that step that a lot of people thought he would this year. He's shooting 45% from the field and 36% from 3. And I mean, on the surface level, that's actually pretty good numbers, but I think people are just disappointing in his 21.7 points per game, and he's currently in a brutal stretch right now shooting the ball. But I value Mikal Bridges still a ton because of what he gives you on the defensive side of the floor, and he's still one of the best two-way wings in all of basketball. Next up, we're going to talk about somebody that is just kind of constantly hurt, but he's still one of the league's best young guards, and that's LaMelo Ball of the Charlotte Hornets. I mean, LaMelo Ball, before he went down, was averaging 25 points, 5.5 rebounds, and 8 assists a night. I also thought he improved on the defensive side of the floor as well, and Charlotte actually looked all right before the injury occurred. He's still going to be out for a decent amount of time, and honestly, LaMelo Ball has dealt with some injuries throughout his career, back in his rookie season, last year, and now this year. So I do wonder if he'll ever really fully break out and we could see full playoff minutes from LaMelo if he could stay healthy going forward. Coming in at number 20, man, it was tough to pick the best player on the Raptors right now. I still think it's Pascal Siakam. Obviously, when you look at trade value and who you want to build around long term, it's Scotty Barnes. But right now, on December 26, 2023, their best player is still Siakam, in my opinion. Siakam, though, is definitely having a down year as well, like Mikal Bridges. He's averaging 21 points, 6.7 rebounds, and 5 assists a night. He's shooting 50% from the field, but really bad from 3 at 24.5%. He also gives you 6.5 rebounds a night and 5 assists as well. And I'm kind of excited to see on what team Pascal Siakam is going to be on after the trade deadline. Coming in at number 19, we're going to talk about Zion Williamson of the New Orleans Pelicans. Now, Zion, like a couple other of these guys that I mentioned, could be a little bit higher if he did stay healthy. Zion, though, has been relatively healthy this year. He's already played in 24 games. He's 5 games away from matching what he played in all of last year's season. And he's going to give you 22 points, 6 rebounds, and 4.5 assists as well. It was a tough debate for me who I wanted to put here between the Pelicans, Brandon Ingram, or Zion. But I think whoever I chose, it was still going to be at this spot at number 19. Coming in at number 18, we got the New York Knicks, and obviously their best player is Julius Randle. Nah, I'm just kidding. It's Jalen Brunson, of course. So yeah, Jalen Brunson has just been a beast this year. He broke out last year as the full-time #1 option in New York after leaving Dallas, after being like a sidekick next to Luka there. And this year, he's performing even better. He's gone up from 24 points per game to 26 points per game, still averaging 6 assists and 4 rebounds a night, while also being insanely efficient. The dude is shooting 48% from the field and 46% from 3. That is just absolutely insanity. Brunson will be an all-star this year. He may even be an all-star starter, and he's coming in at number 18 on this list, which is a damn good ranking for him. All right, I would love to know who you guys have higher, Trae Young or Jalen Brunson, because at number 17, I do have Trae Young. I thought if I put Brunson ahead of Trae, I maybe have been a little bit biased, so I'd love to hear your guys' neutral opinion in the comments below if you're not a Knicks or a Hawks fan. I mean, the Hawks have not been good this year at all, and they still have a talented team, but it's not because of Trae Young, man. This guy has been putting up video game numbers as of late. Trae this season is averaging 28 points, 11 assists, and 3 rebounds while playing through a shoulder injury, and is still shooting 44% from the field and 39% from 3, and he's also giving you 87% from the line. Trae has also improved as a defender. I mean, he's not an all-world defender, but he's not the extreme liability he once was. But yeah, I would love to hear you guys have higher in the comments, Trae or Brunson. Coming in at number 16, we got somebody that just came back from suspension, and that's Ja Morant of the Memphis Grizzlies. So if we're going to take into account all the off-the-court issues that have been around Ja's career over the last year, I did factor that into this ranking. But hey, dude, Ja's a beast. He just won Player of the Week just after coming back. I mean, just 3 games. Ja has been averaging 28 points, 6 rebounds, and 9 assists. Like, welcome back to the league, Ja. But when Ja is playing, he's definitely one of the better point guards in the league. I think we all forgot about him a little bit too much, because I'd be throwing out polls on who's a better player, LaMelo Ball or Ja Morant or Darius Garland and Ja Morant, and nobody would vote for Ja. But over the next month, we're going to realize that Ja Morant is still one of the league's best players overall. Coming in at the number 15 spot, we do have De'Aaron Fox of the Sacramento Kings. Now, De'Aaron Fox is a phenomenal example of somebody that you should not give up on too early in their careers, because Fox was pretty inefficient in his rookie season, but right now, current day, Fox is one of the league's best players at 26 years old. He's averaging just under 30 points per game. He's also giving you 6 assists and 4.5 rebounds a night. And the dude is shooting 48% from the field and 39% from 3. I do think he's one of the more underrated point guards in this league, because this dude is putting up MVP caliber numbers for Sacramento. All right, somebody that's also putting up MVP caliber numbers, and that is also in the MVP conversation, we got to talk about Tyrese Haliburton of the Indiana Pacers. I mean, Tyrese Haliburton has been talk of the town this year. This dude has just been insane for Indiana, has catapulted them to being one of the best offenses in the league, has really helped guys have their career years this year, like Obi Toppin, Jalen Smith, Aaron Nesmith. So he makes the players around him that much better. He's also giving you 24.5 points, 4 rebounds, and 12 assists a night. You can make an argument that he is the best passer in the NBA right now. And I think we can all say that he's the best floor general point guard. So yeah, shout out to Tyrese Haliburton. The dude's a beast because he's coming in at number 14. Coming in at number 13, I want to talk about Anthony Edwards of the Minnesota Timberwolves. I think Edwards slightly edged out Tyrese Haliburton because he's been playing at a higher level for a little bit longer. And Edwards through the first quarter of the season is giving you 25.5 points, 5.5 rebounds, and 5.5 assists, and is the best player on one of the best teams in the league this year in the Minnesota Timberwolves. He's also shooting 45% from the field, 37% from 3, and 86% from the line, which is a career high. And the dude is a beast on the defensive side of the floor as well. All right, the next player was very tough to rank. I think I could have thought about James Harden or Paul George, but I was going with Kawhi Leonard, and he's coming in at number 12. I mean, with all the injuries Kawhi has had, we kind of forget about how good he is, but he's actually been very healthy this year. Played in 27 games, averaging 24.5 points, 6 rebounds, and 3.5 assists a night. He still has some of the best footwork and mid-range talent that I have seen in just my lifetime, and I just really want to see Kawhi Leonard healthy come playoff time. All right, coming in at number 11, I think this player is arguably one of the most underrated players in the league, because when you talk about like really good guards this year, you'll talk about Fox, you'll talk about Haliburton, Anthony Edwards, Devin Booker, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. But let's talk about Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell, with all the injuries to Cleveland this year, is keeping them afloat. He's averaging just under 28 points a night. He's also giving you 5.5 rebounds and 5.5 assists. He's also been dealing with multiple injuries and illnesses this season. I mean, his efficiency is a little bit down, so you can dock him for that. But I still think he's one of the better overall guards in this league, and he should get that type of respect from everybody when you're talking about some of the best guards in the league. All right, let's kick off the top 10. We're going with Jimmy Butler of the Miami Heat. Yeah, Jimmy's not going to put up the stat lines like some of these other guys that I just mentioned, but how could I not put Jimmy in the top 10 when he just led the Miami Heat as an 8 seed to the NBA Finals, and he's been in the NBA Finals twice in the last 4 years as the Heat's best player too? That is a damn good feat, and he should be respected as a top 10 guy when you're talking about NBA teams' best players on their squads. Coming in at number 9, we have somebody that's in the MVP conversation. He broke out last year, and that's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander of the OKC Thunder. Now SGA's play has resulted into team wins for the Thunder. He's given them 31 points a night, 5.5 rebounds, and 6 assists. He's above average defender. He's super efficient, shooting 53% from the field and 91% from the line. Shai is such a good free throw shooter. I do wonder why he's not a better 3-point shooter overall, because he's been 30%, 34%, and 30% over the last 3 years. But if he ever becomes like a 35+% 3-point shooter, he could average 35 one day. All right, coming in at number 8, we have LeBron James of the LA Lakers. This one was also extremely tough. I didn't know to go for AD or LeBron, so let me know in the comments who you would have went with. I mean, LeBron James is turning 40 in a couple of days, and he's still giving you 25, 7, and 7. I mean, just don't take this man for granted. It's actually kind of crazy because I have never seen LeBron James live in person. I've seen KD, I've seen Curry, I've seen Giannis, I've seen Jokic, but I've never seen LeBron. So I need to see him before he retires, because this dude is still just putting up incredible numbers in year number 21. Coming in at number 7, we got Jason Tatum of the Boston Celtics. I mean, what can you not say about Jason Tatum? The dude is 25 years old. He's in year number 7. He has a career averages of 23, 7, and 3. The dude is also putting up 27 points per game this year. He's shooting 47% from the field and 35% from 3. He's the best player on the best team in the league. He also scored 30 points per night last year. And this dude also makes it to the conference finals or the NBA finals, it seems like, every other season. So you got to give credit where credit is due to Tatum. Coming in at the number 6 spot, we do have Joel Embiid. I mean, Embiid is the reigning MVP. He's also putting up arguably better numbers this year than he did last year in his MVP season. He averaged 33 points per game last year, which led the league. Now he's averaging 35 points per game this year, which is also leading the league. He's giving you 6 assists tonight, which is 2 higher than his career average. So he's enhanced his playmaking ability, still going to give you 12 rebounds. He's going to shoot 54% from the field, 35% from 3. He's going to get to the line a ton, obviously. He's going to shoot around 90% from the stripe. He could be the most dominant big man in the league right now. All right, coming in at number 5, this is an interesting decision, but I'm going with Kevin Durant of the Phoenix Suns. Now, the Suns have had their issues this year, but I don't think it's because of Kevin Durant. This dude has been healthy. He's been on the floor, and he's putting up one of the best years of his career, giving the Suns 30 points, 6 rebounds, and 5.5 assists a night while shooting 52% from the field, 47% from 3, and 88% from the line. Like, that is just cheat code numbers right there. Coming in at number 4, I'm going with Steph Curry. I mean, Steph Curry, he's 35 years old. He's in year number 15. He's given the Warriors 28 points, 4.5 rebounds, and 4.5 assists a night. The dude is the best free throw shooter in the league. He's the best 3-point shooter in the league. Still got to give him the respect as a top 5 guy here. But he is my number 2 point guard on the list because I'm finally admitting that Luka Doncic is better than Steph Curry. Luka just put up 50 points on Christmas Christmas Day, and I wasn't even phased. I'm like, this is just typical Luka at this point, and I got to appreciate him for who he is. I mean, he's giving you 33.5 points, 9.5 assists, and 8.5 rebounds this year on 49, 38, and 78 splits. That is just absurd stuff. He's also improved as a defender as well, in my opinion, and I do believe that Luka should get his first MVP in 2024. All right, coming in at number 2, we got Giannis Antetokounmpo. Giannis may be the best two-way player in the league for what he gives you every night on the offensive end and the defensive side of the floor. The dude is a dominant big man inside. He scores 31 points, 11 rebounds, and 5.5 assists a night. Like I said, going to be one of the league's best defensive big men as well, and it really hurt me not putting him in at number 1. But at number 1, you got to go with the reigning Finals MVP Nikola Jokic. In what seems like a down year for Jokic, he's still averaging 26 points, 12 rebounds, 9 assists a night. It's not the insane offensive season he had last year, which could go down as the best offensive season of all time, but it's still a damn good one, and he wants to repeat this year, and he could definitely do so. And until he gets dethroned and maybe eliminated from the playoffs, I can't remove him from that number 1 spot. So yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy the video. Drop a thumbs up if you did. Let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree with any of these rankings. Thank you all for watching. I love you guys, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace. Oh.